If you want little spice, I can give you that over
Sure,
that how products are made. And so those products have a very different kind of a UI than the UI they use in a daily life. Now, Uber app is much more easier to use when it comes to the software they are using in the office. So why there is a gap basically? You should not ask anything to them basically. You point something else and then observe what they do. For example, you just ask them.
Hello, Angad. How's it going? So awesome having you.
So I'm Angad, currently working with Salesforce as a lead designer, and it has been 15 years since I'm doing this. And I started my career with communication and graphic design and shifted into the digital product design. So I have worked in different domains: BFSI, FMCG, e-commerce, direct selling, healthcare products, and software as service, basically SaaS, where I'm right now. And I built a product for 30 plus countries, and more than 50 plus products I've given it to in the Indian market, basically.
It's awesome. So I'm always super interested about how product design works at that scale that you are in. Let's start with like a day in your life and the common challenges and problem that you solve.
So it all starts with the user need. That's the core area where you have to pay attention, basically. But I think if you want, I'm not going to give you the standard process of that how products are being made, because everybody is speaking about all those area already
Right.
on many podcasts. So if you want little spice, I can give you that over
Sure,
that
sure.
how products are made and what really need to be done there. So first thing I've seen that there is a shift basically, or a huge difference I would say, in the product which we see being built basically in B2B side. When I say B2B, business to business, so companies build product which is used by, say, admin or a sales representative. So those products have a very different kind of a UI than the UI they use in a daily life. So there is an admin who's using, say, Uber app. Now Uber app is much more easier to use when it comes to the software they're using in the office. So why there is a gap basically? So that's the one thing I'm banging my head against to bridge that gap basically. Because I was just thinking one day is that when we see Uber app, 10 years down the line, there was no one in the past basically who can book taxi like that just sitting at home. To book a ride, they have to go to the taxi stand, talk to a person, give to and from information, negotiate on the payments, come back basically, and there is chances he will not turn up next day, right? Now here is an application who takes care of to and from information, and it is integrated with the maps. It exactly tells how far it is. It gives you the rider information, riders vehicles information, and that is registered on the platform, so you are also feel safe. And on the other end, there is a payment integrations which happen there, and tomorrow if it does not turn up, they assign you the other person. So if you see the product building logic behind that, and how the complex areas has been brought into the same place, and how easy it has been made for the normal user also. So say my father, who's say 70 years old right now, is not a tech savvy person, is still able to book the taxi through that. So no learning required, nothing required. So similarly, when I see that in my space specifically, you talk, that is what is lacking. Where we think that for the businesses they need big dashboard, so usability, accessibility, and the way the things has been thought is very different. And it's a very simple reason of that, I think, is the understanding the need, because that product belongs to the company. When you're going to ask anything to the end user that what exactly you need, the user is not going to answer in the right direction that what they need, because there are two things. One, that you are the smartest guy in the organization, basically being a UX designer and talking to them. They have to match your expectations and they will answer accordingly. Another, they always have that fear in mind that, oh, they are asking about a company's product which we use. What if we answer wrong? So if you are not able to understand the need properly, how will you create the product for them. So that's the another gap which I see, that if you want to give something to your audience, basically maybe it's the who are starting new, or maybe the people who are working on the products basically. So they really need to put themselves into the shoe of a user and become like them basically. When I say become like them, if I will ask you that what kind of a person you are, you gonna say I'm a good person. Nobody says that I'm a bad person basically, right? So when it comes to talking about some things, they always want to come across as a very intellectual people. They exactly know in and out of everything, right? That's a normal tendency of a human behavior. So now, if you really want to take something out of that conversation when you are interacting with the end user, you should not ask anything to them basically. You point something else and then observe what they do. For example, you just ask them, can you please book a taxi for me? While they're booking a taxi, just see how they open the applications, where they go, how did they find that application, when they went there, what is the first element they're interacting with, how long it took, what was the expression at that point in time, how fast they are able to achieve that task basically, how long they took to complete that task. So these are the real insights. When you do it with the one person and then you do with multiple people basically, then you have a huge data, which you can actually come to the conclusion, oh, so people are getting stuck here. That's what they are using. And yeah, so that's what we need to do more. So when we reach out to them, speak the language they speak, try to be like them basically. When you reach out to them, take them into the confidence, make them comfortable, and don't let them know that you are somebody who's building product basically for a company or something like that. Let this be a secondary. Primary, be a good human, build a good relationship, and then take out the insights from them. So that's one thing I would say, being a very key thing for me in every organization when I was building any kind of a product basically. Connecting with the audience. Another, I would say, business requirement. When it rolls up to you, there are multiple stakeholders in an organization which exactly ask you that we need this is where we are lacking, this is what we need to achieve. But what I think is that once you see the requirement, redefine that requirement from the user understanding, because you are the only guy who exactly understands user, and nobody do better than you basically. So hold your position in those stakeholders, because you are also a subject matter expert and you are the one who's going to drive that. So designers are not being told to say all these kind of negotiation skills and putting themselves forward. They are really into their zone and they build best product. But specifically when it comes to the corporate, there is a structures and hierarchies we have to go through. So we really need to hold our grounds with our studies, with our researches which we do, interviews we do, and things which we know basically. So we really need to hold the ground. There is one thing which I see is that there is a problem with the visibility thing right now in the big organizations, is that you have to come across somebody who's super smart, groundbreaking ideas and everything. So I've seen a shift basically from getting visible because you are building a good product, or get visible first and then build product basically. So there is a lot of things which happens around to get visible basically. You are following the processes, you are being, say, superstar of the team by extra communicating everything to everybody and all those things. But I think a designer should focus on building a nice product first. The moment you will build product, all the unnecessarily noise and problems will go away, which does not matter at all.
This is actually super interesting. And this is so meticulous that I don't think I'll get these insights from someone who's not at your level. And so this was something that I don't think I had ever thought about, which is the disconnect, so to say, between the B2B and the B2C space from the design lens firstly, and then the communication aspect that you're talking about. People answering more like, still employees of the company instead of just users of a product which is being built for the company. So that's super interesting. I didn't think about this. Along these lines, I had my second question. What's your favorite thing about working in this B2B space? Is it bridging this gap?
So when it comes to the working for good SaaS companies, basically, why does this motivates me? One part is that you're impacting a lot of lives with this. This is a kind of product which is not a very front end product, which people will know that, oh, you made a Google Pay, you work at a Google, like that. But that's also one of the same thing. But this is a very core, hardcore product, basically built to enable large organizations with their very unique use cases, basically. So that keeps me motivated that exactly if you are building something for that huge organization where thousands of people are going to use this product, where they're going to capture their daily life activities and how it will be shown it to them. There are thousands of client assigned to that one guy, and then one guy should be updated. So how we can make their life easy, basically, where they're doing everything manually, how we can speed that process up, basically. So it's just not about the company or the product, it's the drive which I get from the user need. And I think that I consider myself lucky in that way, that I'm on this space and I'm able to contribute into that life. So I'll give you a little bit of a background. I comes from a background where I did my bachelor in visual designs, visual arts, basically, from Rajasthan University. So I'm a painter and sculpturist. So I was really good at skill. I made myself good at skill, and it was inherent, basically. It comes natural to me. While I was doing that, I just thought one day when I did my last exhibition that if I'm if I'm presenting something to people, it's more of me explaining my idea to them, and they're taking my idea their home. And I was like, why don't we put this skill to a use by doing little design thinking, where I used to ask people around that who design these fan, who design these fridges, who design this TV, who design this laptop, who decide that keypad goes on the bottom part and screen comes in a first. Somebody has thought it. So I thought that those people are brilliant. But who do it, basically? In India at that point in time, in 2000s, there was nobody actually talking about these topics. So that actually given me the right drive. So I just found my way up, basically. What are the people? So step by step, I'm going towards that, and that's how I end up here. So no matter what kind of problem it is, when it's needed by the user, you'll see me there, basically solving it.
It's always fun to know how people reach where they are, like the journey, because it's always super interesting. No one reaches in like a straight line path.
Yeah,
For
there is no
example,
straight line path. Yeah.
right. Personally, like I started with the design, like normal graphic design kind of, but more so towards a bit of branding and learning about that. Then I entered into identity design, packaging, and understanding strategy and all of that. Then similarly, I was also realizing that okay, I'm deciding the positioning and the strategy and all for a brand. At the end of the day, the brand is selling a product, right? So how does that work? How does one make a product? That's how I got into UX as well myself. And I run AMEG now, which is a design solution studio. Super interesting how people reach at various places. Along these lines, if I have to ask you, because you would have a great answer on this, because you've handled B2C assets and other solutions at Amway, MaxLife, and Salesforce as well. You have grown amazingly from a career standpoint. Can you give some insight about what do you think youngsters are missing out on that has led to now this huge, employment vacuum in the design space?
I don't think so. They are missing out. Sometimes when I meet youngsters, I count myself as a youngster only. But
Right.
when I meet them, I see that they have a great drive, and now they have a lot of facilities. I mean, colleges and everything at the doorstep, specifically teach them, craft their skill at that level where they can deliver this. So I think youngsters are already very driven nowadays. It's not that they are not, uh, but when it comes to the academic knowledge, I think, and what happens in the industry, definitely there is a gap. There's a huge gap, because people who are actually teaching may have worked at some company in their past, basically, and they started teaching. So they left company 10 years back and they're teaching from last 10 years. So the trends are evolving every day. So a person who's teaching, how is he keeping himself up to date with what is happening in the industries? Because every year we see changes in the companies. Now it's work from home, there is a hybrid things which were not there. So now, because of this setup, we are able to work globally, basically in cross terms. We do async videos exchange with our stakeholders who are sitting in the US and all. There's a lot of things which has come into the picture right now, which solves a bigger problems, which was not there. That every day there are new tools coming in, and from organization point of view, also the market is becoming really competitive. I would say India is a great designer. India has a great potential that has been seen by the world also, and there is a shift happening, major shift happening basically by a big people always talking about India basically on those podcasts you would have listened basically. So huge investments are made. So the youngsters or the new coming generation has a huge future here. Just don't get carried away with the titles and all. Just be grounded, be designer, be talking to your end user, and ask a lot of questions when it comes to a requirement. Not of a sake of asking questions in the language you are comfortable in. Ask um, again and again, no matter what happens, because you are not. If you are not clear here, you will not be able to give the right decision. So that's what I've seen is the gap.
Makes a lot of sense. According to you, if we have to talk about some perks of being in the B2B space instead of the B2C, what will that be?
There, right now, I think it's the same.
Similar.
I haven't seen. It's just that you will get a little bit of a relevance or context when you get into the B2C space, basically. For example, if you get into the Amazon or Flipkart, organizations like these, you know that it's the home page, it's the landing page, it's the dedicated landing page, it's the payment page, this is the review page, how it looks in the mobile applications, how the user journey will look like, how will the checkout journey will look like, how the onboarding journey will look like. So those are the few things which you are already doing on daily life, basically signing up on the applications and buying stuff from them. So when it comes to the B2C, you get a little bit of a relevance in the context, so it's easy to adopt. When it comes to the B2B, it's an entire beast and complex product. For example, if you building up a product which do the business forecasting basically for someone, so business forecasting is okay. Maybe subscription based forecasting you need. That is, you can think it about the I use Netflix and I pay every month basically, and I've signed up for 12 months, right? And I have attached this account with you. If I say let's create a consumption based forecasting, that's a different whole scenario. It's like nowadays people are moving towards consumption based. For example, Figma, if they want to take a license only for say 4 people, and later on they realized they want license for 12 people, from so and so month it was 4 and from this month it has went to 12. How will you do all the manipulation in those softwares, and how that the projection will be on the dashboard for the sales leaders and sales reps? So two different spaces. It's just that you have to wrap your head around, and it takes a little bit of a time to get the context. But other than all the perks are the same. I think all the companies pay well. All you have everything at your ease. Basically, you get good devices to work on. You have usability labs to test your product.
That's super. Okay. 5 tips for an amazingly scalable product. Simple, like the main top 5 that come to your mind.
So one will be always redefine your brief by talking to your stakeholders, understanding the business requirement, reaching out to your end user, and validating that this is what we are thinking.
These two are
of building.
fundamental points here.
Yeah, we are just thinking of building something. Does this make sense to you? Do you actually get stuck here? I mean, and partner up with your research people. They do amazing job. We don't have that capability. We know basic research, but they are the subject matter expert of that. So get the market trends, what's happening in the market, where the market is leading. That will help you prediction the patterns which is gonna come up. So that's, I would say, a major core area. Second, I would say that before jumping into anything, get the skeleton out. Understand the entire information architecture, that what exists today, because you may not need to design anything, because maybe just restructuring something in that entire information architecture will solve your problem. Because when initially somebody builds some products, they make a lot of mistakes, but because they don't validate, if they validate also it's too late, Things are just being built up on top of each other. Get the structure out. That's the second thing I would say. Third, don't hurry to deliver the product. Just make prototypes, make quick, low fidelity designs, and again get to your customer and show them that this is what we are thinking. Do you think that this will gonna solve your problem? And if they are not able to answer it, just be with them for a day and just notice the problems around that specific area they follow. Follow them and just observe that if they are being stuck there, and try to inbuild them in your product, and again go back with the final product to check that whether it works for them. So it's a process basically, continuous feedback, validation, and redefining the product ask and coming up with the bulletproof solid idea, which I think will be my third. Fourth, be a good human being. I mean, be very down to earth, be very approachable. You are a designer, and designer is the guy who create products for humans basically. So if a person will not look reachable, and if people will not feel comfortable to talk to you, and if you hold that facade and all those kind of aura, that will later on you will understand that that cause a lot of damage basically, specifically in this area. So be a good person, be a good human being, be reachable. So when you're talking to people about some problem in product making space, they should feel like, yeah, that's the exact guy we needed, because that guy listened to us and actually provide solution. Fifth will be, like I said, that don't run behind visibility and make products. Make products which will get you the visibility. So product making is our main core job. And in corporate, those people comes from MBA, business schools, all those things. So they are trained to do that. We are trained to make good products. So keep on building products. Everything will come on gradually.
Terrific points, super handy points as well. All right. Towards the end, you're handling Gen AI solutions, so we have to talk about this. Where do you see AI? Just the pace of it is superb. So where do you see it in by the end of 2024 and in the next 5 years as well?
So I think there is a perception about Gen AI that it's going to take jobs away and all those things. So I don't see that in that way, because I'm in that space and building things. It's like still today, from the way I see it, it will going to help people basically when it comes to the all repetitive tasks which they are doing on a day-to-day basis. How we can automate and make it easy for them, because this is a way forward now. Generative AI is exactly LLM models are at the level, at the peak, where they can solve a complex scenarios. If a person value can be, I mean, as a person can spend their time in jobs where they are needed specifically, where we need those eyes, it's good. But all the other repetitive things which can be taken care by machine, let the machine do all those work basically. So that's where we are, and I think that automation is gonna happen in all the industries, and it's gonna speed up a lot of product, and it's gonna create jobs basically. I would say that's how we see it.
That's a newer sort of perspective, because lots of people who are outside the industry are kind of fearful right now. They're all thinking that somewhere or the other, a lot of jobs are probably going to go away. But that's a fresh take, right?
Yeah, not at all. It's the other way around. I mean, today, if you want to write a mail to me, and if you are thinking, what you're thinking, you just write that on the OpenAI, and it will give you the precise this thing. So it's helping you already. So tomorrow, if a sales representative want to write something else, now he does not seek help from their manager basically, whether I'm writing wrong or right. So the guy is enabled by the capability of the AI basically. So if those things are inbuilt into the tool, it's even easier. So today we see a lot of tools basically already proposing those kind of things. So those are the one use case. Like that, there are multiple where overall outcome which you get out of that person will be much more than what you get today basically.
Awesome. This was such an awesome conversation. Thanks for your time. I love the mustache, by the way. Looks super good.
Thank you very much. Trying to be something different.
Yeah.
Growing
Awesome.
like a ginger. So, somewhere
This
we
was
have to
super,
balance.
man.
Thanks, Brad. It was
Thank you.
really nice talking to you. Yeah, cool.